If I traded it all.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, my next guests have been on my show a couple of times with me now. I have Dr. John Robinson and Dr. Christina Bosch. They're the owners of the Hormone Zone. Now, listen up, everybody. Not only are they doctors and they can help people, they've also authors. We're going to be giving away their book here. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit today. Get real close to those mics and tell us a little bit today what we're going to talk about.
Well, we're going to talk about definitely thyroid in our new book, Thyroid. We definitely want to talk about male infertility. That's probably one of the really fun things that I think we should be talking about because it's really amazingly important. We're actually seeing an issue with lowering sperm.
Wow. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First of all, I want everybody to know that we're going to open up these lines to the audience for everyone to get a copy of the book. It's called Thyroid Zone, if I said it right this time, the first time. Yay. The real, takes time. The real thyroid solutions for better health and better living. Yeah. And we all know that all of our stuff, if we don't have that thyroid working, we're out of whack.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is informational stuff for you guys out there. We're live on Facebook. Hi, everybody. Please like us, follow us, tell everybody. If you want to get a book, you guys can call in here. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So just first start with one thing for me before we go into the sperm and their count.
Okay.
I said it that way on purpose, okay? Let's talk about your place in the Thyroid Zone, and let's talk about your place and how you can help people, and then we'll go into all of that.
Okay.
Well, the name of our practice is the Hormone Zone, and we focus on hormone replacement therapy, age management, medicine, sexual wellness and well-being, overall lifestyle management in a natural way, optimization, taking health to the next level.
Now, you're located in Scottsdale, and obviously you will do a consultation with people. They do free consult. They want to talk to you. Everybody's reaching out. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? You can learn by talking to them and by getting the book. They can help you with the information with that. Your website is hormone-zone.com. You can call them direct. Their number is 480-338-8070. I've got my lines open here, and everyone's getting a copy of the book. We're just going to give it to everybody. Again, it's Thyroid Zone, real thyroid solutions for better health and better living. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Okay, first of all, what started you on all of this? And right now, you're telling me that you want to talk about, low sperm count, right? Yeah. And you're telling me that you're seeing a high people coming in for that right now?
Yeah, well, what
seeing... happened?
Yeah, exactly. Very good question. That's why we're bringing it out. That's right. I mean, what we're seeing is that there is a generational decline in testosterone levels and sperm counts. This is a real issue. This is an issue for us in the Hormone Zone because we do work a lot with preconception for people who are wanting to get pregnant. What's interesting to know is that 1 in 8 couples now in this country are having a hard time with infertility, and 50% of the reason is because of the health of the sperm of the male.
Which is definitely something we didn't used to think about. Everything was the
It's
focus.
always the girls'
It's always the girls' fault.
It's not at all true. I mean, it's really half and half. And that statistic has risen. We used to think maybe 20-25%, then it come to about 40%, now we're about 50%. It's often the man. So it can be either or. And because men tend not to think too much about it, all the focus goes in from preconception to pregnancy in thinking about the woman. We really should be thinking about our sperm health prior to even thinking about getting pregnant.
How do you think? Okay, not everybody's thinking about my sperm health.
Right.
Especially guys.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what's a really good...
Only women that want to have children are thinking about that.
Well, it's a really good point because there's two things to consider. One is for those people who aren't even shopping for pregnancy, let's say, or successful pregnancy. But sperm count and testosterone levels are a direct indicator, like John always says, they're a biomarker for what the general health state of that man is. So no matter what, testing your testosterone and checking your sperm is a great way to say, well, what is my baseline for my general health now, regardless of where in your life, so that you can strive for optimal health.
So, well, I'm going to say this. Most of the people that listen to us might be a little bit older, but you're right now, you're just talking about this. We're going to talk about other things that you do there.
Sure.
But here's the thing, guys. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone that, your daughter
Right.
who really wants to have
That's right.
a baby and they're having
they're having trouble, right? Yeah.
Right? That's what this show is all about.
Yeah.
It's like telling them all these things, and then you go, I heard this on Networking Arizona. Maybe this can help. So we want you to get the book. Everyone's getting it. It's Zone, Real Thyroid Solutions for Better Health and Better Living. Their offices are located in Scottsdale. You could check out their website. It's hormone-zone.com, and we've got our lines open here. Believe me, if there's anything that you're dealing with, whether you're tired, and I want to talk about those things too, usually it's your hormones, and it's both men and women.
Right.
We're talking both men and women, and that's why your thyroid is where you start checking. Isn't that where you see it the most of what's wrong with the thyroid?
Well, the thyroid is this sort of sovereign of metabolism. It is this hormone that we can't do without, and it has a lot to do with all kinds of
It's like
symptoms.
the umbrella with everything else hanging
everything.
off.
Yeah,
It's
we
so
always
many
say it's the
different things.
captain of the metabolic ship. You know, it's the guy in charge.
Yeah, for sure. And so people can come with all kinds of issues relating to that. That can be memory and focus and fatigue and, sort of staring at food and gaining weight
Right.
no matter what. It has a lot to do with overall metabolism. It can have a lot to do with anxiety and depression and mood swings and irritability. So all kinds
You're
of mental
talking my
emotions.
talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're just me.
Well, that's the
Most
thing.
everybody out
That's a
there.
good point.
And that's the thing about what we try to talk about in the book, in the Thyroid book, which ties back into the notion of testosterone levels. Your metabolism is not just one hormonal system. It's really a very sophisticated system that works together. And when you go to your physician and you say, I think my thyroid's not working well, and they check your one blood hormone, and they say, oh, no, you're fine. Well, here's what. The Thyroid Zone's going to help you go back to that doctor and say, no, actually, please check all of these hormones.
And that's what I want to talk about, because you do tests that are different, and explain what you do there at your offices compared to whether they went to go to their doctor who's not going to really be looking for all those things.
Look, it's a functional approach that we're doing. And what that means is when we're looking at labs, we're not just simply looking to make it kind of okay. We're looking to make it optimal. Or what we would say functional. So the traditional way of looking at things is just, are you okay? That's not what we're wanting to do. And really, frankly, that's not what our patients are wanting or needing. They're looking to feel optimized with their health. And that has a lot to do with a sort of anti-aging perspective or a perspective on aging in general. If we can optimize hormones, then that helps with the aging process.
Well, I'll tell you something. I think that it all starts with the hormones. And there's a lot of people out there that they just don't feel right. Right now I'm thinking that there's something out there with the stars. I don't know what's going on, but so many people. Look what happened today at the school. All of that. I mean, people are nuts because of their hormones.
You just brought that up, and let me mention to that and kind of bring it back to this idea of sperm and actually lowering testosterone that we are seeing from a generational standpoint. The past 3 generations, testosterone is lowering. And so a lot of times we think that testosterone has a lot to do with aggression.
Right.
Let's say maybe whatever is happening or unfolding right now, unfortunately, in Northern California. But what we're actually finding from a behavioral or endocrinology standpoint, actually looking at the behavioral science behind hormones, and particularly testosterone, it is the lack of testosterone that's leading into aggression. It's the lack of testosterone that makes people anti-social, particularly men, but women as well. So there's really cultural implications. There are social implications to a lowering of testosterone, and it's something that we should really be paying attention to. And again, for us, what we're saying here is that testosterone and sperm kind of go hand in hand. And so there's physical things that we would be concerned about: osteoporosis, diabetes, cardiovascular disease risk being higher when testosterone or sperm is lower. But we're also talking about these social things. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Absolutely. I mean, I understand that we want to talk a little bit about infertility, and I know you can help people with that, but it's so much more than that. And I want to make sure you understand, too, that maybe these listeners, they may or may not be the ones that are having those babies. I don't know. But, here's the thing, guys. If you're not feeling well, you want to get your hormones checked, and you don't want to just go to your doctor, your regular doctor. You want to go to someone like them. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about some of the tests that you take. Also, I want to talk a little bit about, some of the things that you offer that are very natural, because that's what you're all about.
Yeah.
We have our lines open here, and everyone's getting the book, Hormone Zone. It's real thyroid solutions for your better health and better living. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Again, if it's you or someone that you know, whether it's fertility problems that you're dealing with, whether it's hormonal issues, both men and women, call us here and get this book. It's informational. It's great. I have your book. I read the bigger one. Again, it's Hormone Zone. Give us a call here, 602-277-5369.
If I traded it all.
We are talking with Dr. John Robinson and Dr. Christina Bosch. They're the owners of the Hormone Zone. They're located in Scottsdale. They will do free consultations with everyone. Their phone number direct, it's 480-338-8070. You could check them out on their website. It's hormone-zone.com. We've got our lines open here, everybody, for everyone to get this book. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this. It's called Hormone Zone. It's the real thyroid solutions for better health and better living. They wrote this book. They know nothing but hormones and what's going on. And we were just, and I got to say this, I know we were going to talk. Well, we were just at the break, and one of the people that were here inside the studios had just mentioned that they went to the doctor and the doctor said this. And what did you guys say when you were talking? Go ahead.
What we commented on was the most common approach to checking thyroid health is just checking a TSH, which is one hormone level that's not even a hormone produced by the thyroid itself. So what we were saying was, again, what you learn in the Hormone Zone is what are the labs that are most appropriate to request from your doctor so that you get a better assessment of what your thyroid is actually doing.
Right.
Yeah, and then we've got a unique way that we're even looking at that. So then there's standard ranges, and then we have different ranges on how we're looking at things, and we wind up finding a lot more issues by looking at things, again, from a functional standpoint. We were saying earlier, if we look at that particular parameter and these other parameters for thyroid in those labs, but look at it functionally, we can actually find those issues a little bit more readily.
Okay, so we were talking, obviously there's people that have to check their testosterone levels, and both men and women, but we also want to talk about some of the symptoms that they would have, number one, and what you guys do in your offices, because everything that you do is all natural, and it's all about making them feel at their optimum. And that isn't just just to say that on to be optimum, but to feel that way every day.
Yeah.
So from a blood work standpoint, again, we're going to look at it from that optimal standpoint on all hormones. And we're going to look at testosterone. We're going to look at estrogen. We're going to look at DHEA, a lot of these anti-aging type of hormones. We're going to look at thyroid in a really, really deep fashion. We're going to look at adrenals and stress. I don't know if anybody out there's got any kind of stress.
Come on, we're all stressed. It's the holidays.
So, there's stress hormones, and they can be through the roof for a lot of people, and there's ways to naturally handle that. So to answer your question to how we kind of handle things naturally, one of the things that we focus on is natural bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which just means it's a natural way, a natural prescription medication that the body understands and recognizes more readily and then provides better results.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the other thing that we're doing is we're not just looking at their labs. We're actually listening to the patient. I mean, how ironic. I think one of the best tools that we have in our office is when the person tells us this is how I feel on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you make something that's subjective, like a feeling, into something a little bit more objective? Because really no one knows you better than you. And if you don't know yourself well, then that's what we're trying to teach you, is how do you listen to your body a little bit better so that you can guide our treatment plan so that you never settle for less.
Yeah, and we definitely go through this process also of teaching the patient. I think that was another thing that got brought up at the break. A lot of times doctors are sort of gleaming over things about labs. We actually take that extra time and teach the patient about what's going on with the labs, what our reasoning is behind all of that, and helping just to really empower the patient. And part of that certainly is listening.
Yeah. Don't follow our treatment plan just because we're giving it to you. We want you to say, I understand why I'm doing this, and I am an active member in restoring my health.
Patients should be empowered.
So the Hormone Zone is one way, but because they want to educate you, so they wrote this book for everybody. Like I said, I read the book, the huge one, the big one. Now they've made it a little bit easier for everybody to carry around. But anyway, I believe that it's very important. You know, people out there, listen up. You know, we're all looking for something more natural. We've definitely for that. We'll talk about some of the different modalities that you use for everybody. But you know, there's so many people out there that aren't feeling right, and it's usually that it'll come down to something like this, and it could be you yourself. It could be your teenagers. There's kids. There's kids out there that are not functioning right or feeling right, and so you want to make sure that you can find out through something like this and have them test you and find out where you are. You can even get this book, read it, see what it is, know the questions to ask, and maybe you'll even know what you know, something might hit you in here that says, oh my God, you know what, I feel that way too. And that's what I like about being able to offer this book for everyone. We've got our lines open here, and it's throughout the rest of the show. You get to call in. Our number here, 602-277-5369. And don't think that you men out there don't think it's just women when you talk about hormones. It's not at all.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad that you mentioned about assessing teenagers, because that's kind of what this topic for today is about. The notion that for the first time in history, we've had 3 generations in a row where testosterone levels are dropping. That means that a male at 25 has less testosterone than their father did at age 25. That's a problem, or their grandfather. That's a problem, because what are the health implications of low testosterone? Increased cardiovascular disease, increased diabetes, increased obesity, anxiety, depression, osteoporosis, bone health in men. You never used to talk about things like that.
When you hear and listen to all of those things that could go wrong, which most people have, it shows you that most likely your levels are down.
You got it.
It almost guaranteed, and we see that after the age of really 30, and specifically with men, after the age of 30, testosterone is declining by 1 to 2% annually. So by the time they get to 40 or 50, I mean, most of the time things are very low, at the very least suboptimal, certainly the way we would define it, and a lot of those risks are starting to increase at that point.
All right, so they've come to you. They've got the book, Hormone Zone, and we've got our lines open here, 602-277-5369. I think everyone should at least read it, because it's nothing but good information. Yeah. But now I want to talk, okay, they've come to you, they've talked to you, they say, okay, we've taken the test, and now you sort of find out where my issues are. Now what do you do for them?
That's a great question, and that's really the one of the biggest keys and one of the unique keys about our system in Hormone Zone. We are providing natural bioidentical thyroid hormone. It's a medication, and the difference with it, aside from the fact that we're giving this natural form, we also give enough of it. So we're bringing that dose up to the point to where the patient actually has a metabolic change. So labs are not enough to depend upon to be able to figure out where the dose is. And most people out there, if they're listening right now and they're on thyroid medication,
I don't know about it. I'm saying it. I am.
Yeah,
and 20 years ago. Oh yeah, you need that. Okay.
Yep. And then what they're doing is just looking at this TSH number that Christina had mentioned before. They're looking at maybe one or two blood parameters. That's it. And they're saying, no, your levels are fine. And when the patient may actually need more in order to be more physiologically normal.
Right. That's why when you say you're on medication and you're still not losing weight, or you're still not feeling good,
you still got the symptoms. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. John's mentioning the dosing appropriately. How many thyroid patients and say, well, I've been on the same, how often do you change your dose? Oh, I've been on the same dose since forever. Well, that's interesting. You're on the same dose from adolescence to menopause. That makes no sense. Remember that the thyroid is working in conjunction with cortisol, your stress hormones, testosterone, estrogen, for men and for women. If the thyroid is having an interplay in these hormones and we're going through menopause, or for men, andropause, naturally, your thyroid and your sex hormones need to be addressed.
You got to get the book. It's Hormone Zone, Real Thyroid Solutions for Better Health and Better Living. You can get it here, 602-277-5369. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to go through was some of these different, where did I see that? Like you say, you've got the pellet therapy. I want them to hear a little bit about some of the therapies that you offer.
Love to talk about pellets. Pellets are small little hormone pellets that we can place underneath the skin, and they're hormones. They can be estrogen or testosterone, and they secrete hormone consistently over time. The cool thing about pellets is they're nothing new about them. They're around since the 1930s, 1937 in Europe, continuously at the University of Georgia in Augusta since 1939. So again, nothing new about it, but there's a way to kind of go about it to optimize the system using these hormones. So we can get this consistent flow And it's so simple, especially for women. It's just one of the easiest things to do, to put these little pellets. They're about the size.
And it's all safe
It's all safe.
natural.
It's natural.
Right.
It's bioidentical. And small little grains of rice just kind of pumping out hormone up to 6 months.
Yeah.
Up to 6 months.
I mean, compliance is 100% when you don't have to remember to take anything every day.
Right.
Set it
Now,
and forget
real
it.
quickly, I just want to do the O shots and
yeah.
the P's.
O
Real
shot,
quickly,
P shot.
because we only have a minute or so.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important. We were talking about thyroid, we were talking about testosterone. Well, erectile dysfunction obviously is one of those issues. The P shot is a wonderful therapy where we are literally taking your own blood, separating from it the plasma, the platelet-rich plasma, re-injecting it back into the tissue. It's considered a painless procedure. It's in office. You can enjoy intimacy, sexual intimacy that same evening. There's no downtime, and that helps regenerate the tissue for vaginal laxity and also for, again, erectile dysfunction.
You know what? There's so many things. What would be your final words for today?
You can always get healing. Healing is always an option. There's always answers. You just have to go out there, look for them, and find the right people that can do that for you.
Well, you know what? It's called the Hormone Zone. You can check them out on their website. It's hormone-zone.com. They do free consultations. They're located in Scottsdale. Their phone number direct, it's 480-338-8070. But I'm going to let everyone keep on calling throughout the rest of the show because I'm going to get you all connected with them, and we're all going to feel better by the end of the year and going new and being new by the new year. Again, it's called Thyroid Zone, real thyroid solutions for better health and better living. Our number here, 602-277-5369. It's hormone-zone.com.